I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about what to do if your ex ignores you. Well, we've all felt ignored at one point in our life, and there's a good chance that at some point in our life we've been ignored by somebody. Maybe somebody that was important to us, or somebody we didn't really care that much about. But being ignored hurts. And the interesting thing about being ignored is that it hurts just as much to feel ignored than it does if we are ignored. So it doesn't matter if it's real or imagined, the feeling is the same. So for example, let's say you text somebody and they don't reply to you for many hours. They may not be ignoring you, but even if you feel like it, it hurts just as bad as if they actually were ignoring you. And sometimes we just don't know. And that not knowing makes us go crazy, doesn't it? When you're sitting there looking at it and just thinking, I cannot believe they're not replying to this. They saw that I messaged them, and they might be in the middle of something, or they might want to get back to you with a longer comment, or when they have more information. It could be a lot of different things. But even if we just feel ignored, it hurts. It literally causes us physical pain. So I thought I'd explain why that is, because I think it's really important for us to understand what's going on with us internally. Okay, because when you understand what's going on yourself, you can kind of rationalize the situation, evaluate the situation a little bit better than if you're just emotional and all upset and you're feeling anxious, intense, and scared, okay? So, I think that the reason that we go crazy or feel like we're going crazy when we're being ignored is because it kind of sets off this internal wiring that we have to connect and feel connected to our loved ones. Because love is an ancient survival code that's wired into us to make us feel safe, right? So we stay close to our loved ones. That's how we feel safe. Because human beings have relationships, and our relationships with each other is how we survived. In other words, other animals have different abilities, like to fly, or you might have porcupine quills, or like skunks can, lay off an odor that chases everything away. So human beings, our safety is our relationships, and when that is disconnected, we feel incredibly scared, anxious, and causes us physical pain. Why? Because our brain releases chemicals to kind of tell us, hey, you need to reconnect with your loved ones or you're going to die. It's like a survival alarm that's going off inside of us. And if you think about our relationships that we have with others, part of the reason that we have society is to stay safe. And so when you do things that are rejected by the norms of society, they kind of reject you and isolate you from everybody else. In other words, if you think back to many, many years ago, if you were in a tribe and you did something that was against the rules of the tribe, and maybe the rule was to keep people safe, or something of that nature, they would reject you, they would isolate you, they would ignore you. Why? Well, that causes people to follow the rules of the group. If you don't follow the rules of the group, we're going to cast you away. If we cast you away, there's a good chance you're going to die. So it takes us back to that deep level, and these things that are hardwired into our genetics that if we feel isolated from somebody, we feel like we're gonna die. And like I said earlier, it can be real or it can be imagined. So even if you just imagine that you're being ignored because of a trauma, remember, if you have had attachment issues, the trauma would come from the past and it would feel like it is going on in the present, even if it's not. So those of you that have attachment trauma would feel more likely that you're being ignored. And because maybe you were ignored in the past, so it hurts even more so for you than if you had always felt very secure and loved by everybody. Okay? So, when you have somebody that is ignoring you, say an ex, it kind of puts them in a position of power, just like the group that isolates the member. They have the power, you're alone, right? So they now control the power in the dynamic in your relationship with them. And I see this all the time, where somebody will have complete control of a situation, which is part of the reason breakups are so incredibly painful, is because you feel powerless. There's not a lot you can do. If you're trying to reconnect with them and they're shunning you or saying no or ignoring you, it is incredibly painful. And what I see is that people don't do well with power. When one person has the power in the relationship and the other one doesn't, it's very unbalanced and it never works. There's got to be a mutual reciprocity going on there between you and the other person, where of course there are going to be some points where one person feels like they have more power in the relationship, or the other person's feeling more abandoned, or whatever, and that dynamic is going on. But when it becomes too unbalanced, one person has all the power, and the other person is like begging and pleading, and now the other person is like, I don't think I want to talk to that person. And people do not do well with power in relationships. Okay, so what happens is, if they have that power over you, they're going to lose attraction. That's just what happens. When someone has all the power, they tend to control the situation, manipulate the situation in an unhealthy way, and the dynamic is completely off. There's no attraction. There's got to be a certain level of balance for there to be an attraction. Okay? So, when you reach out for your partner, your ex, or whoever, and they ignore you, you cannot continue to chase them. If you do, it continues to give them more power over the situation and making you have less power over the situation, which makes them lose more attraction for you. Okay? And I've got a good email today from a woman that's in her mid to late 20s and dated a guy who's about 10 years older than her for about a year. So this is what she told me about their situation. Basically, she was explaining a little bit about his life and said that his mom was a bus driver and his dad was retired. They seemed like very nice, friendly people. Of course, they're older and people mellow in their old age. She says, he said I betrayed his trust. We slept together as I was about to get my period, and I didn't take the baby pill. She calls it the baby pill. Next day, he got me a 72-hour pill just in case, but I never took it because it wasn't serious for me. I told him, and he got furious and broke up with me. Okay, so what happened here? They've been together for about a year, and she was obviously thinking, well, my period's about to come. I don't need to take birth control because I'm going to get my period any day now. I'm not going to get pregnant. And of course, you were taking a risk, and that scared him. So he bought you the, I'm guessing the morning after pill, I think it's called, and you didn't take it because you thought, well, I'm not going to get pregnant anyway. But he got so hurt and angry that he felt you betrayed him. So what did he do? He broke up with you. Okay? He was angry. He was hurt. He was feeling like you didn't do what I asked you to do. So now I'm going to reject you and I'm going to end this relationship. I could see both sides of the situation here. You know, you were taking a risk. You could possibly get pregnant. And he obviously didn't want that, which I'm not sure what the dynamic of your relationship was, but obviously he was not happy here. And, you know, he didn't feel like he could trust you at that point. So she says, I was devastated. I begged for a chance. I got sick and lost 15 pounds. I'm guessing you mean because of the breakup and the anxiety, which is very normal. It happened to me too. I apologized because I never meant to hurt him or betray him. Never. I was hurt that he even thinks that. Well, we have a complete misunderstanding here that may or may not be able to work out. Because it doesn't sound like he wants to communicate with you, and he doesn't trust you at this point. I could see his point, and if you take a look at it, I'm sure you could too. If he thought you were on birth control and you weren't taking the pill, and you're, you know, obviously just looking at it from his perspective, then he gives you the morning after pill and you don't take that either, he's thinking, well, this girl's trying to get pregnant by me. Not saying that's what you tried to do, but, you know, you didn't take your birth control and you didn't take that other pill, so it would look suspicious, I think, to a lot of people. Alright, as far as the breakup, he said the two biggest problems were that your attitude and your negativity. Well, you didn't give me any real detail on that, but if you have a negative attitude, I'm sure that would absolutely destroy a relationship. She says, Craig, my ex won't talk to me. He reads my messages, but ignores them. I found out he is texting other women, which broke my heart. He told me he would think about things and give me a final decision. I asked him a lot of times if he wants to leave, but he won't tell me. Why, Craig? I'm scared to lose him. He didn't block me. He keeps reading my messages and ignores it. It's been about a month. I'm so scared. I miss him so much. Help me. What should I do? Okay, tough situation here. There's a lot going on here. He's ignoring your messages. And I don't know how you found out he's texting other women, but for, you know, however you know, now you know he's already kind of seeing what else is out there. Now, he said to you he would think about things and give you a final decision. And I'm guessing, and I'm willing to bet, that the reason that he hasn't given you a final decision is because he has you as his backup right now. He's exploring, talking to these new women, and if it works out with these new women, he's going to cut you loose. That is how people operate in a lot of situations, and for this particular one, I think that's what he is doing. You know he's talking to other women, and so he was quick to move on. Now, he obviously has his reasons, but you know, you want to know why he doesn't want to give you a final decision? I really think it's because he wants to see if these other girls are interested in him. And if he is, or they are, he's going to go for them. I know that you're scared to lose him, and he didn't block you, but the fact is that you do not want to keep reaching out to this guy. One, he's talking to other women right now, and two, he's ignoring you. If somebody ignores you, I don't continue to pursue them. If I get ignored, I move on because I understand that there's a dynamic going on here, and if somebody doesn't want me in their life, then it's their loss. And that's the attitude you have to have with people. That's the healthiest attitude to have, not a position of you're more important than me, so I'm going to continue to put you first instead of myself. You got to think about these things when you get ignored by somebody. It's incredibly painful. I absolutely know how painful it is to feel ignored. And he is ignoring you. He's not making you feel ignored. Well, you do feel ignored, but he actually is ignoring you because we know he isn't replying to you. I know that you're scared and you miss him, but you need to take some power back for yourself here and stop any further reaching out. I think he needs to start missing you, and whatever is going to happen with these other girls is going to play out. There's nothing you could do about that. He's either going to continue to pursue them, or it's going to fall apart with them, and he'll come back to you. At that point, you'll have some more control of the situation, because it won't be you constantly trying to get him to give you attention. That's not healthy. You don't want to be in that kind of dynamic with anybody. And, that's the danger of, putting somebody on a pedestal and making them look like they're more important than you are, is that we continue to chase them and put them first when you're hurting and getting ignored by this guy and he's chasing after other women. So, when you're in a situation like this and somebody's just flat out not responding to your text messages, you need to stop any further moving and trying to pursue them. They gotta miss you. And they gotta realize that they're going to lose you if they don't do anything to continue that relationship. So, if you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, AskCraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype coaching, and if you have to get with me within 24 hours, roughly, I do my best to get you guys in as fast as possible, I do offer emergency Skype coachings. So, if you like the video, throw a like on there. That's it for this one though. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.